Shalom, RasTafari. This is Wyndham. I didn't think I'm ready to present this right here. This is a little behind the scenes. Hope I didn't let the shock wear off. Okay, what's the shock? All right. Anyway, first things first. We're here posting these vids. These vids, hopefully by the time this get posted up, we've already gone live and everything. Part 4 and 5 of the Hebrew polygyny, Black Hebrew polygyny, discussing that particular subject matter in Isaiah's prophecy. Now, the subtitle over here, or rather, the subject is why 7 women and 1 man. And I was thinking about 1 man, 1 male. If you understand that, even Nostradamus seems to have peeked into that a little bit within those alleged scrolls. Really what they do is rewrite our prophecies. Anyway, I'll get into that. But here on this particular subject matter, if you look at the vid right over here, let's move this. You see it's subtitled 7 females and 1 male. Now notice something interesting, right? When we went on the way to posting and uploading this is right here. If you can see this right here, let's scroll this up. This is some of the analytics, the tags, right? Let's do this right here. Let's copy this, and we're going to take it out so you can see, kind of like if you're not behind the scenes posting, you might not have come across this as of yet, right? These are the analytics, how they track certain subject matters. So do you see that right there? You see where it says male, right? We said 7 females and 1 male. You know, it's like an equation, right? But here it says male, right? You notice that right there, risk factor. This right here, risk factor, right? Risk factor. Now look over here. We'll use the cursor. So you see risk factor. And here for female, it says literature subject. All right. This is all part of this gender war, right? This is a gender war. Some look at it as, black men or Israelites or Hebrews hating on black women, or others look at it as black women hating on men, but they can't really see the bigger picture, right? It's like a double cross in a sense. When you think you see one part of it, you see one side of it, but you're also missing another aspect of it. This is a gender war. Right, this is clearly a gender war. Look at this crazy thing over here. Right, these are some of their. See, this is a gender war against. Is that male or what's female? What kind of transhumanism? Right, is this really the time of Akhenaten? Anyway, but so it says male is a risk factor. You see that right there? Male is a risk factor. So the system already know these are systemics. This is part of the system of things. You see, that's what they're trying to bring it to right there. That crazy stuff right there. You see what I'm saying? The feminizing of the male. But in particular, the key is the black male. Because once you go black, you see what I'm saying? So once their satanic, so-called dry hump, not a wet dream, but a dry hump. They want to promise you a wet dream, but it's a dry hump, is to feminize the black man. All right. It's to feminize the black man. To do it, Satan's whole agenda. All right. This is really even far above the whole so-called race thing. Because the only race really is the human race, i.e. and S, the black race, and all of the derivatives. Basically, when you get to the root of it, when you get out of that white supremacist satanic mind game, right? So we're just showing you some pictures right here. We decided to look up the symbols so we can kind of show this while we kind of opine on this particular subject matter right here. How very interesting this is, right? And look at this right here. This is kind of interesting too. You know, the difference, they say. You see the differences between male and female, the female pelvis, the male pelvis. You know, in fact, female is like the word woe man in its original, right? In its original context, in its original sense. Let me just copy this right here, touch on this for another teaching right here. So where does all this begin? Well, we have to go to the beginning, right? When we get to the beginning, right? when we get to the beginning, Adam and Eve. Right? This is why some would clown that metaphor, because Satan doesn't want you to recognize the reality of what was going on. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. See, the so-called feminists and the feminism agenda is not about woman or female liberation, as many people have been led to believe. It's just like the so-called tree of the knowledge of good and evil wasn't about what Satan or the tempter or the serpent made Eve believe. And Adam, for his part, he was disobedient, right? Adam was disobedient. True, Adam wasn't deceived. He wasn't caught in the deception. He actually knew better. Just like many of us as black males, we know better, but we tolerate this, right? Because the foundations of the earth are out of course. It's interesting here, the Gedla Adam is also a very good resource, the book of Adam and Eve. Very interesting, just put that out there. But once again, to the main subject matter of this, the male is an endangered species, right? In this end time gender war, the end of the times of the Gentiles. Or politically, we can call it so-called white supremacy, right? The times of the Gentiles. Right, the end of these times, it shall be as it was in the beginning. So what happened in the beginning? The feminine or the female side of the equation, the soul side of the equation, was deceived. Right? Eve was dissed, but she didn't even know it. Just like the black woman was dissed with the whole feminist and so-called black feminist agenda and so-called Gloria Steinem, false glory, pseudo glory, Gloria Steinem, CIA agent, right? And what the big picture was. So what we see going on today, right, is based on those weeds. While we were seeking to put in the good seed in the 60s, while men slept on the reality of what was going on, while men slept, then the enemy came and sowed his seed of weeds and bad weeds. This is why this is so interesting on the analytics. Look at it once again, right there. You see it for yourself. Male, right? Look at the contrast. Male is a risk factor, right? To be male is to be a risk factor. So when you hear ones and ones speak about, especially many males who have grown up here or woken up to really recognize, not in a hateful sense, because then you get caught in that satanic, because it's divide and conquer, to divide and conquer humanity. It's not really like some make it out to be like it's just the so-called woman or it's just the so-called man. It's Satan. It's the enemy. It's the devil, the same one from the beginning that fooled and bamboozled and caused our first father and first mother, right, to be beguiled. Now look over here, female. For female, it's a literature subject. You know, was that right there? Literature subject. Like, you know, it's a talking point, right? But the male is a risk factor. Danger. It's a male. You know, beware of the male. So you see this in the not Google. Well, this is Google, basically YouTube's. You see this in the analytics, right? So a little wide shot right here. You see this in the analytics right here, just to show you where that's at behind the scenes as we post up this video, because we decided to call the fifth part 7 females and 1 male based on the Isaiah prophecy, right? Instead of in the first part right here where it said, why 7 women and 1 man, right? Just to change the context and change the equation for a better understanding. So this had popped up when I was saying, I said, oh, they have male there. Then I looked in the parentheses and I saw where it said risk factor. I said, oh, they even know, and they put it right there. You know, they show their sin just like Sodom, right? And they hide it not, right? Wake up, right? Wake up, lost sheep of the house of Israel. Wake up, lost sheep of the house of Israel. Wake up before it is too late. Because if Israel, right, so-called black Israel doesn't awake, right? Doesn't rise and shine and rise to the occasion. Well, there goes humanity, and the enemy knows this. This is why the black male and female and the nuclear family is the target, right? Is the target. But the male clearly is the risk factor. You know, it's like the art of satanic war, right? He's using the woman, the female, to get to the real object of his attack. And these analytics right here, right? These analytics, right? And this goes beyond just YouTube and Google, right? This is systemic, right? This is systemic. So when male comes up in the matrix, right? In the matrix of thing, when male comes up, it's identified to the Deus ex machina, the machine god of the Babylonian world system, as a risk factor, while female is a literature subject. It's a subject of literature, subject of writing, subject of talk and dialogue, as we have seen over the past 40 plus years, nauseatingly. And has it really made the female situation better? Now you hear them talking about, oh, we have fought for everybody else's rights. Now we need to fight for our, what? Excuse me? Are things better for women across the board, but especially the lost black sheep Israelitish woman? You know, sheep wearing goat heels. Anyway, brothers and sisters, just a word to the wise. Check this out. Part of the gender war. The system knows it, and the system basically shows this even in the analytics right here, right? That male clearly is a risk factor, while female is just a literature subject, a point of conversation, right? As it was in the beginning, you know, debate, right? You want to debate it? Well, first, stop biting the bait.